Growing up, education was one of the most important things in my household. My mom's a Jamaican immigrant, my dad's from the south side of Chicago, and both my parents were in the military. And if you don't know anything about military brats or Caribbean kids, let me just tell you that my parents were strict, and working hard in school wasn't optional. It was required. But even with all of that hard work that I did, when it came to the college process, we realized we didn't have a roadmap for success. My mom couldn't help me because she didn't have guidance herself. She went to the military after high school and eventually took some community college classes and then transferred to a four-year school. My dad worked on his degree online as an adult while enlisted in the Navy. He graduated from college when I was in high school. But I had a teacher who really believed in me. Shout out Ms. Stefano, 11th grade English. And she held my hand through the entire college application process and helped me become the first person from my high school to go to Princeton and then later Harvard Law School. But even when I graduated, armed with a Harvard Law degree, I still felt at a disadvantage, surrounded by my peers who had mothers and fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, all who were lawyers and who could help them navigate the legal profession in ways that my family could not. But stories like mine aren't as rare as we might think. According to the Center for First-Generation Student Success, 54% of undergraduates in 2020 were first-generation college students, defined as those whose parents do not have a bachelor's degree. 54%, that's over half of all college students in this country. And that doesn't even count people like me, who actually don't count in that statistic because our parents did get their degrees just later in life. But we still had some of the same struggles that traditional first-generation college students have. We couldn't ask our parents for help on the college process, and we couldn't even ask them for help in job placement after we graduated. And that lack of knowledge and education, it has lasting impacts. Only 55% of first-generation college students are able to get a job that requires a bachelor's degree within 1 year of graduation. They still make significantly less than their peers whose parents went to college, and they are woefully underrepresented in top corporate leadership positions. This is a missed opportunity. First-generation students disproportionately come from lower income backgrounds and often have to work while they're in school to support themselves. I know I did. I worked 2-3 jobs in college, 2 jobs in law school, but that teaches us how to make the most out of limited resources. We learn how to navigate uncharted territories, and if I say so myself, we learn some pretty amazing problem-solving skills. Aurora is a Cherokee Latina from East Los Angeles and a single mom. And Aurora, like many first-generation students, had to persevere against all odds, and she did, and she became a banker at Wells Fargo and developed a unique off-site sales strategy. But see, she learned how to be creative in sales because in high school, she had to work long hours at a mall kiosk selling cell phones while her parents worked 2 jobs. And Aurora had to be good at selling cell phones because her parents depended on that income to make ends meet. But it was those experiences that led to her being so successful at Wells Fargo. Her sales strategy ended up being rolled out region-wide within just 1 quarter. And within only 2 years, Aurora became Southern California's youngest female branch manager. See, first-generation graduates, we bring fresh perspectives. They challenge the status quo, and they become key drivers of business innovation and success. Research tells us that diversity in the workplace isn't just good ethics. It's good business. Companies thrive when diversity is in top leadership positions. A 2020 study by McKinsey & Company titled Diversity Wins, How Inclusion Matters, surveyed over 1,000 companies across 15 countries. And they found that companies that had management teams in the top quartile for ethnic and cultural diversity were 36% more likely to have above average profitability than those in the bottom quartile. A 2018 study by the Boston Consulting Group found that companies with diverse executive teams had 19% higher revenue due to innovation. 19% higher revenue. I don't know about you, but 19% higher revenue sounds wonderful to me. When you have diversity in top leadership positions, you have a broader range of perspectives. You can have diverse income, diverse revenue streams, diverse business models, all which can spur widespread economic growth. And economic growth creates not just jobs and higher employment rates for historically disadvantaged people, but it rises consumer spending. And when you increase consumer spending, you can increase the GDP of a nation. So, how do we tap into the tremendous potential of first-generation college graduates? Well, there are a few ways. Financial support is one tangible way. Financial barriers represent some of the largest obstacles to first-generation college students, but we can do something about that. We can donate directly to a student or to a nonprofit organization that supports the educational and career placement opportunities of first-generation students. And these nonprofit organizations, they cannot do it without us. They cannot do it without community support and donations, because first-generation students don't just need money to get to education, but they need money to thrive while they're there. They need money for textbooks and technology. And I'm looking at some of you in the audience, and I can already hear you saying, Sydney, I would love to support a first-generation student, but I'm not really in the place to donate right now. Well, one thing that we can all do that doesn't require any finances is advocate for policies that democratize access to education and technology. Technology like artificial intelligence. As AI continues to shape various sectors from finance to healthcare to clean energy, education in technology is becoming as fundamental as reading or writing. And I know from having my own edtech startup that worked with students on their literacy rates that you can't do this without having conversations about equity and ethics and who gets access to technology if you want to create a world in which all students are able to benefit from the power of technology. Otherwise, what happens is students who go to well-resourced high schools, they get access to cutting-edge technology. They accelerate their learning and see career progress. And students who go to underfunded high schools, who are no less capable, who have no less potential, they get left behind. But if we want AI to do more than just make companies money, if we want it to be part of solving societal issues, if we want technology to bridge the gap between first-generation students and their peers, to bridge the gap for all students, students with disabilities, students who have ADHD, bilingual students, then we need to make sure that those students are getting fundamental education in technology and AI training so they become the founders of the next great solution. And personally, as someone who has an invisible disability and ADHD, I would love to see more founders making solutions for all of us. We can also all do our part in creating internships for first-generation students. I've seen in my own education nonprofit the transformative power of targeted internships. Internships play a pivotal role in exposing first-generation students to careers and professions they may never have heard of. And I am a firm believer that you cannot become what you do not see. And you cannot see what you're not exposed to. And internships provide exposure. Internships provide exposure to the professional and corporate world that is otherwise unobtainable. They demystify the corporate world. In addition, mentorships play such a crucial part. When you mentor a student, when you share your story, and guys, I'm not just talking about the highlight reel, okay? I'm talking about your whole story. When you share the lows, the hard moments, the kind of cringe moments, you show a first-generation student that the path to success is not a straight line. It's a little wonky. But the nuances of the professional world are something that they may not be exposed to from their parents or their community members who don't have those experiences. And mentorship is so important for emotional support and encouragement. I know I would not be here without my mentors. And one of my most supportive mentors is a woman named Mary. Now, Mary and I met when we were in college. My college told me, get an internship, and I said, okay, but I have bills, so I need to be paid. So I went online, and I found a firm that was, for some reason, paying college students to do administrative work, and I said, okay. So I packed my 2 bags, I rented a shared Airbnb with strangers, and I went to a place I had never been to before, Boston. And I was determined that summer to figure out what it meant to be a lawyer. And what I found out was that corporate law was not for me. But what I also learned is what it meant to have a mentor. Mary and I, when we met, we found out that we were not only in the same sorority, but we had gone to the same undergrad, and it created an instant bond. And Mary was with me through college, she was with me through law school. When she moved from the firm to a government position, she said, Sydney, I need you to come intern for me, and so off I went. She was with me when I started practicing law, but when I pivoted from law to education, I honestly thought I would lose Mary as a mentor. See, I thought a mentor was someone in your profession who helped you in your profession. Mary was a lawyer, I was no longer practicing law, so, I don't know, goodbye, Mary. But Mary didn't go anywhere. She leaned into me. She helped me navigate my career changes. When the pandemic hit, she helped me with resources. When I started an ed tech company, Mary was there. And when I realized I needed to create a nonprofit to support first-generation students, Mary and her husband not only donated their money, but their time and their advice so that we could help more students. Students like Aurora. Mary is a lifelong mentor to me, a confidant, and a guide on my professional journey. But each one of you has the power to be like Mary was for me. You have the power to open doors and create opportunities that otherwise might remain closed. You can share your story with a first-generation student and show them that their aspirations are attainable. There is a first-generation student out there who needs you. You might not know them yet, but you can meet them by giving talks locally, by participating in career days, by hosting college workshops. And when you meet them, when your stories come together, it's going to create lifelong impact and legacy. But we're not just talking about legacy for one person or one student. When you support a student like me, or a student like Aurora, it creates a ripple effect. Because then we go and we support other students, and they go and they support other students, and it creates a perpetual cycle of empowerment and innovation. The future is in your hands. We can never know the full impact of the support we give a student. When Mary supported me, when Miss Tofano supported me, they could never know that one day I would be on the Forbes 30 under 30 social impact list. And I made that list for the work that I've done supporting thousands of first-generation students in their education and career placement. And I can never know the full impact that I will have on those students as they help others. But that's the beauty of it. Your actions today, whether mentoring a student and sharing your story, donating to a student or a nonprofit organization that works with students, or encouraging your business to establish an internship program, will create a future where diversity of thought and perspective fuels the engines of progress, where every student, regardless of their background, can contribute to our collective success, and where the businesses that embrace this vision lead the charge toward a brighter, more innovative tomorrow. Thank you.